All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome back your Master of Ceremonies, Kenny Wells.
There we go. That's a better applause for me. I feel more important now. I need the ego boost. It was a long day. We're all tired. They couldn't find anyone else to replace me overnight. I'm sorry. They tried. They really did. How you guys doing? How many of you guys are excited to be here again? How many of you guys don't want to be here till 7 o'clock tonight? Oh, apparently a lot of you just want to kick it till 7. I mean, yeah, it's robotics, but like, go have social lives. Seriously, go out with your team afterwards. Do something fun. That's what we do as volunteers. But I'm excited you're here. You're excited you're here. All the volunteers are excited you're here because they're here, which clearly means they like you. But we have a couple things that we need to take care of before we're ready to get matches underway. We don't have too many matches today, and then we're going to go into alliance selections and playoffs, so only a couple more qualification matches. But before we get into all that, I would like to introduce one of a very important person to First WA. Her name is Erin McCallum. She happens to be the president of First WA. Or Washington First Robotics. That's a technical term for it.
Right.
I get that wrong and they get mad at me. But please put your hands together for Erin.
Good morning, everyone. I want to talk this morning a bit about community because I joined this community about a year and a half ago, and I am amazed at the enthusiasm and really the strength we have working together. So I just want to shout out to a couple of individuals and teams that have been part of this community with the hopes that for those of you who aren't yet involved, please let us know how you want to get involved. So first, let me talk a bit about advocacy. How many of you have already written your letters to your state legislators and have put them in the pit admin? Woohoo! Okay, for those of you who haven't, you have until noon today. How many of those teams are recipients of OSPI grants? That is why you want to write your legislator. This makes a difference. It also makes a difference in having all of you who will one day be registered voters to know who your elected officials are because they want to hear from you. This is part of a democracy. So get your letters in by noon today. Really appreciate it. On that note, also wanted to recognize and thank the teams that have been very much part of our advocacy efforts in Olympia over the last few months. We had a number of teams down in December to speak to members of the state legislature, and then we also had a number of teams that testified in front of a committee, education committee on the state senate. So Issaquah Robotics, I know I'm going to forget all of you, so I apologize. But again, this cannot be done without really the students involved and the mentors helping to advocate. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the funding and the cost of this program. As all of you know, this is an amazing program and the cost per student is much less than a typical varsity sport, but it still is costly. Our ecosystem with 1,054 teams is about $4.6 million a year. That's a lot. So while all of the teams are raising dollars, and the FRC teams in particular are raising a lot of dollars to help cover your registration fees, the cost of your robot, as well as your travel across the state and to Oregon, and then potentially to the World Championships. Washington First Robotics works very, very hard through our board of directors in helping to raise funds for teams. I will do a little shout out for Lindbergh. We've done some fundraising training with with this team. We've done fundraising training and webinars with other teams. And Matt, a lead mentor, just told me that typically they've raised about $2,500 annually through their fundraising efforts, but through this process they ended up raising over $11,000 this year, which is fantastic. Again, companies, foundations, and individuals really want to understand the impact that this program is having on you, the students, and collectively what it makes possible for your team. So keep that in mind for the season. Fundraising really is a 365-day-a-year activity, and we're here to help advocate and support you guys. Every team has a different budget and different goals and objectives, and we want to make sure that you succeed in those. So have a fantastic day. Don't forget to get your legislative letters in. And I also want to just do a shout out because Austin Kouquet and there's a couple other students that are helping to put together Geeks Gala this year, which is a fun event that's going to be, it's a dance on Friday, the 29th of May. So you're gonna see some information on that, but get that on your calendar and hope every team is there. So thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you guys so much for giving her a round of applause. She has been so important to the advancement of Washington First Robotics. She's been a huge help. So let's give her one more round of applause, just so she realizes how much work she really does. We only have a couple more guest speakers. Our next guest speaker is a man who needs no introduction.
Thanks for that introduction, Kenny. I really appreciate that. Hi, everybody. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kevin Ross. I'm the founding chairman of Washington First Robotics, and I want to thank all of you for coming in today and being a part of this enormous community that we've grown. You know, one of the things that we do a lot is we sort of celebrate people who are headed off to college. And first, it was originally set up as a STEM education system, or a STEM education program. We want you to be interested in science and technology. A lot of our students do go off to science and technology, and we're really proud of them, but it turns out that about 60% of you are going to go do something else, and we want you to realize that you are just as valuable to our community, if not more, than all of the students who are going into science and engineering. You know, I talked to a lot of students during the years about college, about how to pick a major, about how to get excited about what it is to find your own passion. And I've actually given this particular talk before, but I got about 4 or 5 requests to give it again. Some of you may have already heard this, but I think it actually is a reasonably decent message to make sure that you guys understand. You know, picking a college career is that's a difficult decision. I mean, you're 17 years old. What the hell do you know about what you're going to do for the rest of your life? I'm 52. I still don't know, right? So we're asking you this really heady question about, gee, what are you going to major in? And then we really screw you up by throwing you a graduation party where you stand there and you tell all your relatives what your future holds. Right? This is, yeah, a lot of people are nodding, right? So this is a really kind of a tough thing that we do to you. I want you to realize that the path that you're headed on right now is starting in high school, and we've given you some bar to go hit. And it feels like that should just be a straight line right through college. You're going to hit everything, and life will be perfect. Well, I got some kind of rocky news for you. Your college career does this, right? It's ups and downs. So I think the best way to illustrate this is I want to tell you a little bit about my history so you get a feel for what normal people do, all right? So I graduated from Juanita High School in the Lake Washington School District. I graduated in 1981, and I had no plans to go to college. So I spent the summer doing some really cool jobs. Let's see, I did a hot tar roofing job for about 2 weeks. Fail. I was a landscaper. I put in hot tubs. I was a deckhand on a fishing boat for a couple of years. So I started to experience things, and I've always been interested in science technology since I was a kid, and I experimented with a lot of stuff. But the reality is that none of the things that I was qualified for when I got out of high school were something that you would consider doing. So I became a theater major. So there you go. I was at Bellevue Community College for 4 years. I was a theater major. I actually have 4 associate degrees from there. While I was there, yes, absolutely. So while I was there, I loved theater. I was 15 credits shy of getting a degree in theater. And then I had a long talk with one of my theater mentors who clued me on the fact that after 30 years, he was making about what would be the equivalent of about $16 an hour and had no benefits. And so I had this sort of big reality check between what it is that I really found myself passionate about at the time and what I could actually make a living at. And turns out that theater is only 3 notches up from the lowest one, which is counseling psychology, degrees coming out of college. Yeah. So what did I do? I changed my major, and that's okay. I went through a few majors. I think I was a math major, a science major, all in the span of a little bit. But I always loved science and technology, and I always loved planning stuff, so I got myself a computer science degree from the University of Washington. Yay! And then, many of you already know this. I'm going to tell you all this to make a point, is I then went on to work at a little company in Redmond that made operating systems called Microsoft. I was a senior design engineer on the Windows project. Actually, I started on something called OS2. I started, it was a little company. I think there were like 600 or 1,000 employees at the most. When I left, there were 18,000 employees. I am somewhat unique. I got to retire when I was 32, and I get to do FIRST for the rest of my life. Hey! So, I told you this story because if as most people would assume that in the relative grand scheme of things, I'm a relatively successful guy. I've got a lot of passion about things. I want to tell you now about my college career. I was a very mediocre student in high school because I had no passion for anything. I wish I would have had FIRST. You guys are getting a huge leg up by being able to experience things. My college career, I changed my major 5 times. I found the thing I was passionate about. I did not know what that was. I thought it was theater. It turned out to be computer science. It turned out to be working with people. My college career, I will admit, I flat out failed Math 125, Calculus 2. That's kind of a nasty thing when you're trying to be a computer science major, but I took it again, right? And there were a number of classes I didn't do so good at. I didn't really do all that great at Physics 123 either. Another one of the prereq classes. I took it again. My life is full of bumps and bruises and all of the other things that go into sort of finding your passion. So how is it that I got to succeed? I played around with enough stuff. I tried to experience as many things as I possibly could while I was both in high school and while I was in a community college to find something that I was passionate about. What does that mean? What is it that I am passionate about? You know, a good way to do this is go to Barnes & Noble or go to a bookstore, and they got this huge magazine rack. What on that magazine rack are you willing to buy and learn on your own? That is what a passion is, right? Please don't pick engineering because I told you that engineering is really cool. That is the wrong thing to do. The world needs people who are passionate about what they do, who love what they do. We have enough of the guys who got an engineering degree and didn't really want it. We got that guy. We don't need that guy anymore. He's okay, but he's off in the corner not doing anything. What I want you to do is find out what you're passionate about. I hope it's science and technology. I am just as ecstatic for those of you who decide to get an art degree or a literature degree or a business degree, as long as you find that interesting, if you find that something that you're going to be passionate about, and it's something that you are willing to learn on your own. That is how you can go out and be successful. Why do I want you to be successful? Well, first of all, I've invested an enormous amount of time and money into making sure that you are successful. That is my goal in life. But there are problems in the world that need solving. We're going to have energy problems. We are going to have social problems. We need some of you to get in there and really fix some of the social problems that exist in our society. There are mundane things and things that I'm totally passionate about. Why is it that all toothpastes in the world, when you brush your teeth and then drink a glass of orange juice, you want to throw up? Why can't you make toothpaste that is compatible with orange juice, for crying out loud? Right? So my dream is one of you will go to college, get whatever culinary, chemistry, engineering degree it takes to make it so that I can brush my teeth, enjoy a glass of orange juice, and really get on with my day. Wouldn't that be lovely? So, finding your passion is hard. Finding your passion is going to require you to change. Somewhere around 70% of the people who go into college change their major at least once. I changed mine multiple times. I found what I was passionate about. I feel like I've got the world's greatest life at the moment because not only did I have financial success, but I also have the tool set through all of those experiences to be able to help lead a group such as FIRST and to be able to hang out with some amazing and outstanding students and some amazing and outstanding volunteers. I hope this message made a little bit of sense to you, and I hope that you can take from that there is no answer. I have no way to tell you what it is that you're going to be interested in, but I'm hoping that we are arming you with the tools for you to be able to figure out what that's going to be on your own. Does that make sense? Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I do have one more very important bit of business. I am a volunteer. Actually, Washington First Robotics and PNWFIRST there are about 2,500 volunteers. They are supported by just 3 paid staff members. Aaron is one of them. You're about to find Susan Martucci, who's about to walk out and hand me something. This is Susan Martucci. She is our head volunteer coordinator and one of our staff people, and we appreciate everything that she does. We have so many volunteers. We are just completely blessed. Some of these people do this every weekend. Some of them put enormous amounts of time and energy and vacation time. Honestly, we have people who spend all of their year's vacation time doing FIRST events because they believe in the mission and they believe in you guys because you are members of their community. Today, I would like to actually recognize one of the volunteers with our Outstanding Volunteer of the Year Award. This volunteer got involved on a team. His son was heavily involved on one of the local teams here. He became a mentor, and over the years, we've managed to lasso him into bigger and bigger roles. Just in the past couple of years, he's become one of the key members of not only the Washington FIRST community, but nationally, he's one of the people that's very, very well respected by the FIRST New Hampshire folks, and they are now sending him to different states to do his role. I can't tell you how much time and effort he's put into this, the enormous responsibility that he has agreed to shoulder. He is the guy who's in charge of running this game and doing all of the technical stuff, training all of the people who are running the fields. He is the guy who trains all of the other FTAs in the Pacific Northwest District. I'd like to put everybody to give a warm round of applause to our Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Kerry Denherder. There he is. Thank you, Kerry. We appreciate it.
It's a privilege, and I want to thank the teams. Thank you.
He wanted me to tell you what a privilege it is to serve you and to thank you, all of the teams. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you guys so much. Kerry truly deserves that. He has to deal with me pestering him all day on why we're running late. So He deserves way more applause than you give him, but he's a big deal. Good job. Good job. Okay, so not only here at First do we like to reward our volunteers, we also like to reward and show that we have a huge amount of student participation and involvement. Some of those students actually get nominated by their teams for things called Dean's List. How many of you guys know what Dean's List is? Some of you do. Claps indicate yeses. Hands raising, it all works. I get that a lot of you know what it is. We have some Dean's List stuff going on. These people will be going to the district championship. So if you guys direct your attention to those overheads, you'll see those teams that got, or those students that got nominated for the Dean's List. There we go. Okay, we've met some of the volunteers. We've seen the Dean's List students. We're ready to get this underway. We're going to introduce a couple more people back. The judges, they're around here somewhere, I'm sure. You've seen the judges yesterday. You'll see them again today. They're there, right there in the front. They're wearing blue, and I still can't find them, really. Judges. The other very important group of people that we have, you know them well, right over there are our referees. They stick out because of their zebra shirts. And one more very important group of people that we did not introduce yesterday because we wanted to make sure that they got their own full introduction, everyone knew who they were, because they really have a big deal job here, something that very few of us would really want to do because it involves watching you guys, getting mad at you guys when you do unsafe things. So please put your hand together for our Underwriter Laboratory Safety Advisors, right there in the green shirts at the end of the table. And then I'm going to probably ask for more after this, but I might say this is my last round of applause I'm going to ask for, at least during ceremonies now, but that's probably going to be a lie because I like hearing people clap. Can we get one more great round of applause for just all of the volunteers? Because remember, everyone here in a white shirt, a ref shirt, or a... They not only give up their weekends, a lot of them are mentors. They give up their time during the season. I know a lot of them work extra hours during the week so they can have Fridays off so they can come and do competitions yesterday and today. Again, this is all volunteer run, so these people are really helpful. If any of you adults or older students are interested in volunteering at one of these events, go to the First Wall website and fill out the VIMS paperwork so you can volunteer, or send an email to Susan Martucci. She would love to have an email. She's always running after people trying to get them to volunteer. So if we have more of you, we hear from her less. Which is always nice, even though we love her. Okay, if you guys can please give another round of applause as our Pacific Northwest Choir comes back out.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still
Because we are robotics competitions, I'm always randomly handed new pieces of technology. This is one of my favorites at the time. It's called a decibel meter. It means I can actually hear how loud you guys get. So if I turn it on and hit the max button, and you guys scream, we'll be able to see how many decibels we can make in here. Do we think we can go over 100 decibels? Okay, so on 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a stop signal. We got 108. We want to take one more run at it. Okay, ready? One more try. Let's go. 112. 112's not bad. I'm sure we'll have to pull this out at other events and see if they can be louder than you guys. I mean, this is only week 1. But we have our teams placing our robots. You guys ready to get this competition underway? Well, continue.